What's my mother's name?
Fuck you, Tony. And Brian Nabeshin Jackson.
Take me to Valhalla.
Oh, those are all good. All three of you brought it this week. Oh, Tony, fuck you. You fucking blind. This is the first Critical Role reference. For anyone that listens who knows, and they'll just be marking them down as they go along. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Irrational Passions podcast, QuarantineCast. This is our 6th episode in quarantine. I don't know if you all have realized that, and we took a week off in the middle there, so that's everything's going fine. I'm okay, as far as I know. 4 of us are all okay. We hope everyone out there is doing okay. A couple things before we get started. We're going to talk about some video games today. I'm very excited. Probably a good amount of games to talk about this week, depending on what you guys did. I wanted to start off with a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, right now, over this weekend, anyone who is not listening to this live, unfortunately, will miss it, but you'll be able to see some archives after the fact. Over on Twitch, the writers of IP are doing a charity stream, and we're raising... I don't let me pull up the charity because George handpicked it, and I'm very bad at remembering names. But we've been doing a charity stream all weekend on Twitch. Part of COVID relief. A lot of folks have been doing it, and we thought it would be appropriate to jump in. Sunday, tomorrow, the day after we're recording this, we will actually be kind of grouping up together and maybe playing some stuff together. So if anyone's tuning in live, they want to hang out for that. Let's play maybe some Smash Brothers, possibly some Animal Crossing Island cross-pollinations. It is going, all the proceeds are going to the Latino Center of the Midlands, which George specifically picked out. It's a local charity to him, and I think it's awesome. It's, the same idea of everyone needs help right now, and picking who we want to help obviously is very difficult, but this was something that George was very passionate about, and I agreed. So we'll be doing that all of tomorrow. Some happened today. Some's going to happen right toward the end of this podcast. It'll get started. Mike's going to be doing some stuff tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to be playing some stuff, just multiplayer stuff that hopefully we can all play. But I just want to shout that out. Other stuff, irrationalpassion.com is the website, the home of this podcast, which is normally live on Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and up Tuesday mornings for your podcast service of choice. Sorry, I did not mention that earlier. Just the regular stuff went up this week. We had Raccoon City Radio. We had the last week's episode of the podcast with Brant Range, which was very fun. George had a preview of a Spin Rhythm XD, which is in early access right now. Mike had a preview on YouTube of Ninjala, which is the Splatoon-style ninja battle royale game that's free to play on Switch. They had a beta, I think, or an alpha, or just a closed demo this last week, and Mike streamed a little bit and captured some gameplay, put it up on YouTube, if anyone is curious about it. And George wrote a great feature about attacking his backlog. Finally, for real, during the pandemic. He played Halo 1 for the first time and finished it last week, which was pretty cool. I remember when I did it the first time. I remember when you did that, Nabeshin. I don't know if you ever finished all of those games.
No, I didn't even finish the first one.
Yeah.
I wanted to, though.
It's weird. It was weird because George played the original version. I played the anniversary edition. I think that's the one you played as well. And he talked about how that game feels in a lot of ways, many games kind of that era, it was very much rushed at the end, and they had to rush to finish it, and there's not really an ending to Halo 1. Or it feels like there's a little bit of a skip in the middle, which reminds me of Dead Space 2 and things like that. So it's just an interesting perspective to have.
I just when I was playing Halo 1, my issue, not really issue, but the thing I couldn't really figure out about that game is not knowing really where to go, because I wasn't really used to I'm still not really used to first person shooters as far as how they're designed, as far as in open settings, even with Wolfenstein. I had some issues knowing exactly where to go if it didn't have a waypoint on it, because that's just what I'm used to and what I know as far as first person shooters. So
yeah,
Doom is pretty straightforward, so that's more or less a linear thing. So
and Doom has a map. A lot of first person shooters still don't have maps, and it's criminal.
Well, for Halo, there's always a golden rule, right? And it's, can you take the warthog there? If the answer is no, you didn't want to go
Yeah,
there.
it wasn't worth your time anyway.
Mhm.
That's the real lesson to take away. That's fair. I feel like Halo, like infamously, has a level that is hard to navigate. So I don't think you're alone in that. The last recap episode of Raccoon City Radio is going to be going out Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the end of the game. Andrew and I are recording that tomorrow. And that's really it. That's irrationalpest.com. That's all the cool stuff. Let's just get into it, y'all. Let's talk about some video games. Nabeshin, I want to get you up front. I just want to hear what you have to say, if it's anything, and then we can move on with our lives. What you been playing, Nabeshin?
I haven't been playing anything.
Just Persona 5. You finished it today.
I literally just finished it today.
Yeah. When did you finish it? Like today? Like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
I woke up at like 6 or 7, and then I beat it like around maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock.
Yes. I don't know if you saw the most recent text message I sent you.
I probably missed it, honestly.
Yeah, you're good. We have much to discuss. How like was it? I just like, without obviously spoiling anything, I just like, was it weird? Getting into stuff that was new. Was it cool? Was it just, again? I'm more curious from the perspective of like, I didn't really have the experience with 4 to 4 Golden, right? But I did get to have that with 5 to 5 Royal. I just didn't know if you had any like, if it ended up changing how you felt by the end of it.
No. Like all the new stuff is like substantial, which I expected because like you said, I played Golden. So like Golden was the only thing I played, I should say. So like having like the new stuff being as much as there was, like the thing I said like yesterday, which like it kind of sounded like a complaint, but it really wasn't. It was just like how I was feeling. It was like, man, like how long is this fucking game? Because like I was just kept playing it, and like I knew like the new stuff was in there, obviously, but like if I were to compare like how much new stuff compared like to my very first time playing, like I think I beat like a little bit over 100 hours the first time I played.
Yeah.
So like it was at least another 20 hours on top of that.
Yeah.
And that's like,
and it's not like all at the end too. So some of it's throughout the game, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Obviously, not obviously. Sorry, I didn't mean to say like that.
No, you're good.
But like it's more of like it's probably even more than that because like there were times I reloaded certain things because like I made sure I had like max confidence by the end of it. Like everyone was at max by the end of that game,
nice.
Which I was very, very, very satisfied and happy with.
Good. That's why I was. It was the only thing I wanted to make sure you saw at least all the party members stuff. That's why I asked that question when I texted you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something I wanted anyway because like actually seeing the ending, like this is probably my second time actually ever seeing the ending. So like, there's a lot of things I like kind of remember, kind of don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like from the first time I beat the game, and then like when I did my replay through, like as soon as I got all of the Personium in the compendium, that's when I literally stopped, and I was like literally at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Not literally at the end, but like right before you fight.
God. So you didn't actually just play through to the end again.
Yeah, so I did like seeing the ending. I haven't really seen from one of my when I did my second playthrough. So like, you could say this is my true second playthrough of the Persona 5 echelons or franchise or whatever.
Experience.
But like, yes, but like,
I also was a mess through the end of it. If it makes you feel better, I was just sobbing through like the last 2.5 hours, which that's not like the action climax part. It's a lot of like Persona shit, and I was just sitting there just like quietly crying while playing. It was very good.
Just the whole like you're leaving town thing again. It's like, oh right, this stuff.
This
like I kind of forgot all about that, and just like talking to literally everyone that you ever interacted with, and like actually wanting to talk to them, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the best thing about it. It's like, oh, I actually do want to see you, and I actually do want to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a one-sided conversation more or less, but like it still meant something to me.
Yeah.
So.
And like all the goodbyes are and like the final things that each character says to you, like really, really stuck with me.
Oh God, there's one thing I wanted to say to you, but I completely forgot. Um, it was a thing of speaking very vaguely, like it was a thing involving Ryuji and meeting with him before you go to the final battle, and like it was something that he said in particular compared to like everyone says like really good things, but something that he said in particular.
I know what you're talking about. Ryuji's
that, like,
so good.
but it was something he said like in particular at that point where it was like I was just like, yo, because like I understood how he felt. I mean, like, cause like the situation there was like there was a thing, and like I understood that like I felt like it was wrong, but I didn't have the right words to say it, and like Ryuji just said it perfectly as far as like how I felt about this situation, and what I. He just said it in the right way that like really like spoke to me, and like he was just my God, Ryuji, I couldn't believe it.
I can't love you anymore.
So hard, you know this so hard.
Yeah, totally.
There's about, like, my feelings and like how I genuinely should like how I felt about it, but I didn't know how to say it, and he just like said it perfectly.
Yeah, I feel like many of those specific feeling moments in Royal specifically because of some of the scenes that are rewritten and how they change stuff, and you know that I'm just a big fan of. Yeah, I was just curious, like if it was weird at all. It going through different. It's you know, it was funny. Like when I finished it, right? I went back and was like, what did people think of this? Because like I was still I wanted to come to my own thoughts and then see what the general reaction was. And it was funny, like in Japan, some of that early criticism before it had come west was that was not a substantial enough expansion. Like it wasn't enough stuff, and I was like, whoa. Like I never thought this at any point, just because like the quality of life stuff alone is just incredible. like it is such a more streamlined, fun, laid back experience in the ways that it should be, while also being like more tense, and the bosses are more interesting and things like you know they totally hit both sides of it perfectly, I think. So cool, man. It's all consuming. Yeah, what was your final time? It was an hour 25 or 125 hours.
It's like somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, you finished it faster than I did, though. To be fair, but I guess if you went and reloaded stuff,
yeah, like if I were to say like truly like how the time would have been, it's probably like maybe like an hour 35 maybe.
Cool, that's about what I was, which yeah, crazy. It was 103 hours was my original playthrough of Persona 5. And I you had the same experience where like you crossed the 100-hour mark a lot earlier than you did in the original game, and I was like, I wonder like how much, or at least I thought, I wonder how much longer this is going to be, like how much is going to be on the tail end. I was the anxiety of like not knowing exactly what was coming at the end of that game was so stressful for me, but it all worked out. Cool. Anything else you played? Now that you're unshackled by Persona 5, what's next?
I kind of want to go back to streaming, honestly. Like I haven't done it in so long. Just playing my usual bullshit. I just want like to play like more Sonic games and more just because that's just been fun just to do.
Yeah.
And like after getting, and like not to say like I want to get through Sonic Adventure 2, but like I want to get through Sonic Adventure 2 so I can like get through these other games that I haven't played in a while, like these like Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog.
I really want to see you play Sonic Heroes.
And Sonic 06. I generally want to play that game again because like I saw Lawrence Santag, formerly of Funhouse, play a little bit of that game. I was like, man, like that game was a lot rougher than I even remember. Just like even frame rate, like it just goes like for 10 frames a second, just like on a dime. Like it's so easily. That game just looks terrible, but like I honestly can't. I am so excited to even just play it for myself, just like to re-experience that game. Because like, I played through that game around where it came out on 360. Like I borrowed my friend Mark's 360 to actually play that game when it came out, and like which was crazy because like 360 just came out, so like he let me borrow his 360. It was like a really cool thing. And like I beat that entire game. Like I beat it with all three characters. I got the supersonic ending. So like I need to do it. I need to see that game
You
again.
have to know.
And like and honestly, like there's one thing I want like people to do for me. If this like I don't know, like someone like Plank Fan. Like Plank Fan is like a person who gets shit done. But like I need somebody to like get in contact with Twitch and like just make Sonic 06 a fucking game you can pick. That's not a game you can pick. Like I said, I told you this before. Like that game's not in Twitch whatsoever. It's like it's not on there, which is weird because like they get their game source from Giant Bomb and it's on Giant Bomb. But like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, or however you want to say it, that game is not a game you could pick as far as like the game you're streaming right now. You can only pick Sonic the Hedgehog from the Genesis. So if someone could get that done, I would be greatly appreciative of that.
Yeah, that's crazy that I know you like we talked briefly about how it's like you can't find that game really anymore. It's not like listed on digital storefronts. Which I guess like that's true of some other early 06, like early 05 games, but still it not being on the Twitch listing is weirdly, it's like some shade being thrown right there.
I mean, yeah, because people stream it, and like it's on games and also done quick like every year, almost every year, just to like, hey, like I beat this game in 15 minutes because there's a fucking glitch that makes you just see the end credits in like 15 minutes. So, like that's crazy, but like super cool, but whatever.
Man, I am curious about it. It's like one of those like Resident Evil 6 situations where like not only is it bad from what I understand, but it's also very long.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 30-hour game or something, right? Or 20 hours or something.
Yeah, that game took forever for like no reason. I can't remember because like I die constantly because like see bad level design or what it is, but like it took forever that game.
I think it's a combination of the level design is length to what a normal Sonic game.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like let's just take the other few Sonic games. The length of those levels doesn't seem that long, but the actual map track should be about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's variation, but you're moving through the earlier games way faster. And it's simply because of how the levels laid out in 06.
Does Sonic 06 have like that vibe where it's like it never feels as fast as it should?
As far as
because I feel like Sonic Adventure 1 like has a good like
it has its moments, but it definitely forces you to stop for no good reason.
Yeah, like
then it has you stop for kind of a reason.
Because I think like
probably a bit too much.
Sonic and the Secret Rings was like an example just of that era of Sonic games that just like I never really feel fast. I never like feel like I'm doing Sonic shit. It's just kind of happening.
I mean, like the Sonic shit, like the fast sections where it's like Sonic's just like bowling down in that game, where you have to just dodge obstacles or whatever. Those are literally like the worst sections of the game because it's like it's almost it totally is like if you fuck up, you die like just straight up, and then you have to do the entire level all over again, and that's where it loads like 3 times. Yeah, like I beat that game.
I know. Incredible. I love that game was made. I just
yeah,
you gotta get through Sonic Heroes first. So
it's not just that, but if you took like the whole playing the game out of it, I'm pretty sure the rest of the game is like just going through loading screens and watching shit. Isn't something close to like 6 hours too?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, there's 3 parts for it. You have Sonic Story, you have Shadow Story, and you have Silver Story. So, like, it might be 6 hours each, honestly.
Wow, incredible.
I can't wait to like do like Sonic Heroes and Sonic Shadow the Hedgehog as well. Shadow the Hedgehog is like that's the weird one, man. Out of all, like that is the weird one because he says "damn" when he dies. He has a gun, he shoots, and like it's like it has a more morality system, which I love.
Wait, what?
Whereas, yeah, you didn't know this?
I didn't know that.
See, you and Katie, both of you, like, cause like she was like, "Oh, I'm wet percent Shadow the Hedgehog," and like he was my boyfriend, but like she never plays Shadow the Hedgehog.
I never felt this way about Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Shadow is not my boy, But listen, I get that, but it's just like the layers of understanding Sonic games.
But yeah, like there's like is it it's like a live morality system or something like that, because like you're playing a Shadow, you're running around, you see Sonic, and they're like, hey Shadow, you want to like run with me and like take out these demons, and you could do that, or you could just take out the army men who are just shooting whatever, or you could just go straight for the Chaos Emerald. So like there's multiple endings in that game where you just be completely good, where you're just like you take all down all the aliens, you could be completely bad and just like kill all the humans, or you could go straight to the normal side where like you just get all the Chaos Emeralds, and there's the Super Shadow ending. So like there's like maybe like 7 endings in that game.
Whoa. This is blowing my mind, legitimately.
Yeah, Shadow Hedgehog's a weird game, man.
It's so weird.
So here's the thing. It sounds like it kind of just be a fun game to play.
Yeah.
But it could go very wrong. One, if the controls are poor.
Oh, yeah,
two,
totally.
if its characterization is out the fucking window.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know how they write Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, didn't they just botch both of those?
I don't know. If you play Shadow the Hedgehog, Nabeshin, what moral direction would you take, Shadow?
I mean, I gotta go through all of them. Like the goal is like to do the Supersonic-esque ending for all these games, or get all the Chaos Emeralds or whatever. So like, so I gotta see all of it. So that's my goal.
Super Shadow, never not. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for bringing Sonic. Just give me like little breadcrumbs, so that way next week when I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't know this shit about Sonic either, it'll still be a surprise. Cool. That all you've been playing, man?
Yeah, pretty much. My nephew's been like wanting me to play all the Resident Evil games, so I might just do that in front of him. He really wants to see them, and like he's been seeing me play a little bit of 3. Which I still haven't beaten yet, which I'll probably beat like probably tomorrow, because he doesn't want me to play until he's in the room to watch me play. So
cool.
Yeah, I'll probably beat that game hopefully probably by tomorrow, because I'm literally at the end. I just gotta just do it. And maybe even start doing the Resident Evil game, because like it's funny, because like Nicole mentioned to me like a while back, like, oh, you should just like stream all the Resident Evil games. And like I said, I probably should, because like I have a great affinity for Resident Evil, but like I've only played this like 1, 2, now 3. And when I say 1, it's like OG 1 and remake 1, and just the remake of 2. Never played the original 2. Just played the remake of 3. Never beaten 4. Like I always get to like the first village and never get past it. That's because I don't know, I just never get past it. Beat 5 constantly. Love 5. 6 only played the beginning of that, and I beat 7. So like those like only ones I've ever really played. I have 0. I need to play both Code Veronica, but this I want to check out this, but I don't know like I'll have the time for it, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny, as Scott White has also been playing through Resident Evil for the first time. I guess he had played 2 last year. He loved it. Played through 3, and then he played through 1 remake right before 3 came out, which he had never played before. I think he played through 4, which he'd never played before. I think he'd only ever played 7, maybe. There was 1 that he had played before, so he's slowly working through them. I know he's gonna probably play Resident Evil 5 with someone soon. So, yeah, those games are cool. I beat Resident Evil 3 last weekend right after we recorded. And then I went back and I just did a quick replay this week. I just put it on easy mode. I was like, let's try out some of these like new game plus things that you unlock. Had a blast, man. Just real fun. And it was also fun to like fuck up Nemesis a little bit, like on easy mode.
Right.
It's cool too, because like he drops items, but he drops less items on easy mode. So I imagine on normal mode he drops a couple more weapon attachments and things that you can only get from him. I imagine on hardcore difficulty he might have stuff that he only drops on that difficulty as well, which is really cool. It makes me want to check those things out. I've been meaning to watch the completionist video on it, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, that's a fun game to just. It took me 2.5 hours to replay it on easy, just one sitting.
How many many Resident Evil games has Andrew beaten?
Everything but 6, and 1 he's not played. We're gonna play through 1 together. We're gonna hopefully do a thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we're gonna like I'm gonna go to him or he's gonna come to me. We're gonna sit down and do a stream like together playthrough of 1 for the first time, because neither of us have played it or finished it, which is gonna be super fun. But yeah, he's done 2 remake, 3 remake, obviously. He has not finished 4 in a similar camp to you. I think he's gotten a little further.
Oh yeah, Andrew was like super far. I'm surprised he didn't beat it though.
He might have finished it.
Speaking of those 2 games, 1 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
are those basically the 2 polar opposites of Resident Evil?
I would say 1 and 6 are. Like 6 is like 4 if it got bad. 4 is, I think, there's still a little bit of a balance of the action and the horror in Resident Evil 4.
Well, and it's not just a balance between the action and horror that I'm looking at. It's also I'm looking at how the gameplay style and how it changed.
Sure. Yeah, I guess 4 is...
Because in 1, like there's some action, and that game is mostly a puzzle game.
Yeah,
right.
You're right. You're totally right.
And then like 4 is an action horror game.
I would say 3 remake is now like where it becomes that, because honestly, to me, Resident Evil 3 remake feels a lot like a modern, streamlined and a lot shorter, but modern Resident Evil 4. I feel like the way that you move through levels in Resident Evil 3 remake and like how long that you spend in each area, like you're not ever really backtracking, is very similar to how you move through areas in 4. But 2 has the same deal where you're like in areas for long. There are a lot more puzzles to solve. Some of them actually require some critical thinking. You know, it's nothing is on the puzzle level that Resident Evil 1 is, I think. But you're right. I remember when I played that game for the first time. I played through, I guess, the first act of it.
And you're like, why is this a puzzle game?
Yeah, I was like, this feels like a LucasArts adventure game. Like, I feel like I'm like, go here and get the rubber chicken with the pulley in the middle, and then take that item here, and then do this bullshit and take that item there. Yeah, it was totally exactly what you mean, Scott. Yeah, I don't know. I think 4 might be kind of like where it totally goes off the rails. But Andrew and I played 5 together. We played 7 together. And
do 6, man.
And we are going to do 6 at some point. To be fair, like I was the one. I said, like, listen, you ask me and I'll show up. Like, I'm not gonna bring it up, but I will be there when you ask me. And he's like, all right, man, I'll let you know. And then he just hasn't yet, which I know it's because he's fucking afraid of it. But that's a 30-hour game. Resident Evil 6 is like 30 hours.
Like that's such a blind spot for me too, because like I know the tales of how bad it is. And I own the game, but like I just never
I've
actually
played
like,
8 hours of it. Like I've seen some of the.
Beat it.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It felt like I had played forever, but so Jacob and I got to the 3rd act in Leon's campaign, and the 2nd act in the 2 other ones. I think we might have finished the 2nd act of Chris's campaign. And we got to like the boss of the 2nd act of whatever the fucking 3rd guy's campaign. And it's all bad. Like it's all, there are parts where I'm like, man, if this played better, this could be good or whatever. But it just doesn't feel good, doesn't look good, doesn't sound good, isn't scary, isn't tense, isn't fun to shoot. You know, it's all the checkboxes, which is a bummer. Cool. Scott Guthier, have you played anything this week, man? What'd you get into? Yeah, no.
Not too much, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, this week has been a heavy work week. So
sure.
A chunk of it is me getting home, taking a nap, getting up and being sad that I got up. And then doing the nap thing again until I have to go to work.
Dude, I feel this. I woke up this morning and like because I'm terrible at sleeping and managing myself. I woke up at 4:00 in the morning, and then proceeded to do like that was my day, and then at 11 I took a nap, and then I took another nap, and then I took another nap, and then we started the podcast. So listen, man. I feel you. Do you have any is anything on your radar right now, Scott? Should I maybe start looking into some stuff to recommend? Obviously, I know time being concerned, but I don't know if you're looking for something to sink your teeth into.
Not particularly.
Okay.
I was thinking about Final Fantasy VII, but given everything, I think that's you know what? You could just do that all at once.
Sure, yeah. I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts on that game, to be fair. But yeah, I think also waiting and just seeing what it all comes together. If at some point I get to hear you go on a rant about Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'll take it today or 5 years from
now. Other than that, I'm pretty good for now.
Okay.
There's a few things that I'm waiting for, but
such as
I don't think they're soon.
Anything in particular?
Let's see. I want to see if this is soon. Darkest Dungeon 2.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I feel like that has.
I'm forgetting.
That has a 2020 release date, maybe, but I don't know. That's also one that could be, further off than we knew, especially because of the pandemic and all that. But I don't know. Yeah, that one doesn't have a date yet. I guess in theory that could be this year, and that's PC first, so yeah. But no date yet.
No date yet? I thought that was this year.
It could be. It's not confirmed yet.
All right.
What else?
Off the top of my head, I forget.
Cool. That's all good. I'm just keeping a lookout. If I see anything, I'll recommend it. Throw it your way. Tony Horvath.
What's up, dude?
Video games, man. Sorry that we had to make you mute us or anything. We didn't talk about anything crazy, I promise. But
it was enough that I was like, I'm done listening to you guys talk about this now.
Sure.
I told you to leave me alone.
Leave me alone, Tony, until you finish this game.
Yeah. I will.
So what's up with you, man? What you been playing?
I have been playing a little bit of Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross.
Now, Tony, I'm gonna stop you here real quick. You are sounding a little staticky. You sound like it sounds like a USB cable is loose right now.
That's weird because there's definitely not.
Do you want to try dropping the call and then come back? Try talking.
How about now?
Sounds okay. Sounds better. Okay. So
weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay. Grand Cross.
Yeah, I cracked into the top 100 players in the whole game this week briefly for about 5 minutes, and then was overtaken again.
Dang. How many of the so you're in the top 5 guild or whatever? I don't know if you still are.
I go top 4 right now.
Nice. How many of the players in your guild are in the top 100 players?
2. Only the 2 people with higher team score than me.
Nice.
I'm ranked 3rd out of the 30 people in my guild. And briefly, for a couple minutes this week, I was in the top 100 of the whole game.
That's
which
cool.
is fucking nuts because I've spent 1% of what the people in the top 100 have spent on the game.
That's cool, man. Again, the grinders always coming back. It's slow and steady wins the race. The tourists really taught the grinding people out there how to win.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's been it's a lot of the same. That game is just a grind at this point. Some new content came out, but it's just a new boss. So I did the boss, did the content, got a cool costume, went back to the grind. It gets much slower, especially from where I am now, because I'm kind of done. You go through tiers of progression, and each one it's diminishing returns on how much you actually gain. And I've kind of gotten through a lot of the early ones and a lot of the late ones now. So it's really to progress more than where I'm at. is going to take a long time. So
Hey man, it's just up in the background doing the work for you. So
pretty much, yeah. If I was actively playing this game, I would have been gone a long time ago.
yeah, that's cool. I appreciate the grind.
Yeah, so that's going on. I've been playing some League of Legends
Oh,
a little bit. There's a new build for Rise that I've been playing a little bit.
yeah.
Pretty good. So it like kind of changes. You are a lot more tanky, instead of just having insane firepower. So you brawl a little bit more than you would just kind of like throw a couple combos out and then you've either won or lost. Yeah. So that's been pretty cool. Been playing a lot of Persona 5.
Hell yes, dude. Appreciate the text messages.
Yeah. However, my attention was briefly stolen for the past couple days by Graveyard Keeper.
Yeah, I'm curious what kind of prompted you to jump into this.
Literally nothing.
Cool.
I was going. Basically, what happened is I was looking for something to watch while doing stuff in Seven Deadly Sins, and if I'm doing that on one screen to my left, I'll have some YouTube video playing or whatever. And so I went to my favorite Twitch streamer's YouTube channel where all of his VODs are uploaded, Carnage. And I basically, what I'll do is I'm looking for something to watch. I'll just go through his playlists, which list every single game he's ever played and have all of the VODs from his Twitch stream in order for that game.
Nice.
And I'll go through and look for playlists with more than 50 episodes, which means he's got more than 25 hours of gameplay. Because each video is 30 minutes. And eventually I was scrolling down and I saw Graveyard Keeper, 98 videos. And I was like, okay, I remember Alex saying I should probably play this and me mostly ignoring him. I'll check it out.
Par for the course. Fair.
So I started watching the first couple episodes and I was like, yo, this game seemed pretty lit. And then I watched like another 10 episodes and I was like, I really like watching this game, but this specifically is one of the games where I can't just watch it. I want to do it.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of management type games where I would much prefer to watch someone else do it than me do it, because it takes all the stress off of you of having to organize and actually do the thing. You get to just watch someone else be stressed out about logistics and all that stuff and be like, ha, I would have done that better, but you like don't actually have to do it, so you can just say that,
Yeah.
This game though, I was like, I could do this well in a way that I want to do it. And like I was getting a little frustrated at him doing things differently than I would have wanted to do it. So I was like, fuck it, let me go check out this game on Steam. And it was on sale. So I bought it. I picked up the DLC as well. And jumped in pretty much only with the 5.5 hours or so that I had of watching him play as experience and how to play the game. And now I don't even know. I'd have to look at my Steam, but I think I'm probably 25 hours in.
Nice. Yeah, that was one where like, at least for me, it was like a Civ game where I was like, okay, I played 8 hours of this and I probably fucked some stuff up, so I'm gonna go ahead and restart. And then to be fair, I don't know if they made like quality of life changes with the most recent expansion to make that less likely to happen. But like I just felt, and it was understanding the systems and all that. Like there's so many tech trees like right at the kind of gate, and I was like overwhelmed for sure.
Sure.
But the thing that had happened was I like spent all my research, spent all of like those blue points like right away, and I didn't really know how to get them back after you kind of unlock the church and start getting faith and all that, like those kind of premium once a week resources.
Yeah, and making notes and stuff.
Yes. So that's when I was like, oh, okay. It doesn't take that long to get there, but I was like, I'm gonna restart. And then once I restarted and knew that, breezed through, and I felt really good about it. So
cool. Yeah, I didn't end up doing it that way. Like I definitely made some of those mistakes, but I was just like, I'm gonna go focus on some other aspect of this game for a week, and then I'll get more faith the following week.
Smart.
That I can do my thing, or because really this game has kind of baffled me in how it introduces and pulls you into different mechanics.
Yeah.
Like I could start a week, because I kind of think like after every sermon that I do, I've got a week to do what I got to do before I got to be back ready to go for the next one.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts out really simple where you're like, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do today, you know, and most of the time you get a body and you have something else to do. And for each day, there's a specific NPC that shows up or is in their spot to do a thing. So you can kind of gauge what you want to do based on that. But as you keep getting further into it and more stuff unlocks and more things you have to do present themselves, like you'll start with a goal of like, I need to make sure I have candles for the sermon next week.
Yes.
And then then you're like, okay, great. How do I do that? I need to go start beekeeping.
Yep.
I gotta unlock this thing that goes up here. Oh, what else is up here? Oh, there's a quarry up here. I gotta go check out this quarry. Oh, I need to make all get all these things so I can build these things over at this quarry. So then I'm going back. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a swamp over here. Oh, there's a bridge I need to build in this swamp. So like, then you realize, wait a minute, it's almost time for the sermon again. And I've done like 0% of the stuff that I set out to do.
Yep. Totally.
So that consumed me for like 20 hours.
Yes.
And then I unlocked zombies.
And you're like, oh my god, this is so much nicer now.
And I had to stop playing because I got overwhelmed and stressed.
Yeah, that totally fair also.
That was like the end of last night for me. Like I was like, okay, great. Let me look at my tech tree. Oh, there's like a tech for zombies for every single thing I can do.
Yep.
Yikes! I'll figure this out tomorrow. So. Totally. Yeah, I came back and I've just kind of been like slowly picking them up. Like first thing I did, I dropped a couple farms because I didn't want to keep doing farming all the time. And I realized, wait a minute, zombies are taking a little bit longer to get than I thought. And also the zombies that I made so far are dog shit. So I'm going to just put those on a menial task that doesn't matter as much. Okay, we'll put them on wood chopping because it'd be nice to have wood.
Exactly.
But I don't necessarily need wood all the time.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to have better zombies working on the stuff that matters. So then I was like, okay, great. Next thing I got to do, and then this took like 3 weeks to actually get to the point of getting it done, is I got to go and build the zombie parts up at the quarry, so I don't have to go up there anymore. And that part I did, but I haven't got all the zombies up there yet. I've just got them working the iron and the coal, and then someone bringing it back. So I'm kind of like slowly branching out my zombies. And at the same time, I've unlocked a bunch of other stuff in the town with the new DLC that I need to look into. And, when that happens, it's like, hey, bring beer to the tavern so we can run the tavern. Yeah. I'm like, great, I haven't even started that yet.
Yeah, I don't even know how to make beer, dude. Give me a minute.
Yeah, so, well, I got to get hops somewhere. So, then I went and I'm like, okay, great. I got to level up the miller guy. So I leveled him up. And then I went back. Oh, he only sells 1 hop seed a day. Great. Okay, let me pick up a seed from him once every day for 4 days. Now I can plant my 1 hops plant. And so I've got that growing actually right now. And I just put down a zombie vineyard. So nice. I can, because once you start a zombie vineyard, I don't think you need to keep providing it with seeds. It will be self-sufficient.
Yeah, it'll just kind of go for a little bit. I don't know if you still need more seeds, but you can also like put seeds in like the box near there, and they'll pull from that automatically.
Yeah. So I figured I would set that up, and hopefully after I like make a couple run throughs of hops, I'll have enough seeds to get the zombie going, and the zombie should hopefully get producing. So then I can start turning those into beer and then put that in the tavern. And while I'm doing all this, there's like 30 other things I'm trying to do at the same time. So, like exploring the dungeon, going through alchemy and making all that stuff, because to get the better quality beer I need, and all that other stuff, I need better fertilizer, which better fertilizer, you need stuff from the dungeons to make through alchemy to turn into fertilizer, then put those in the farm. And at the same time, on top of all that, I need zombies to run all these things. And I'm trying to make the best possible zombies. So the first thing I had to do for that was figure out, how do I preserve good bodies for a long time? Because I was looking at the tech tree. I was like, okay, freezer table, that's probably pretty good. So I went through and got all the research on the way to that, put those down. They stop your bodies from degrading at all.
Yep.
So I just wait until I get good candidates for zombies, put them on those. And I've got like the embalming table too and all that stuff set up, and I'm farming for materials to get like injections for these bodies so I can make really powerful zombies to do my work for me.
Yeah.
So it's just this crazy thing of all this stuff.
It all feeds into each other in a really fun way.
It really does. Yeah, because I didn't think I would end up being as into all of these different systems. The one system that I just don't care to get involved with at all is fishing.
Yeah, I didn't like fishing either.
I don't like it. I'm not gonna do it anymore. The one quest I had to give fish to the dude for, I just bought him from the inn.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm good. You know what? It's fine. I'll just not do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm having a great time with it.
That's great to hear. Yeah, it's definitely like one of those kinds of games, but it's cool because I think like the tech tree gives this kind of like civilization-esque progression to it, where you're like getting better stuff and learning more about each thing that you're getting as you go along. Yeah, I'm glad you're digging it, man. It's just like I remember that game, the vanilla version of that game that I played only about like 20 hours of before like zombies were in it, and it's just it's one of those things where like even 30, 50, 80 hours in, you still need wood. So like without like the idea of like, all right, here's just the zombies are just getting wood and I just never have to worry about wood. Maybe I can only have enough zombies to do that with one resource at a time, but I can stockpile enough wood that I don't have to worry about it right now. So before that was in the game, you still had to go back and like, I have to go fucking make nails now. And it's like 80 hours into this game, I didn't want to be fucking making nails. So the first thing that they put out, I was like, okay, this really makes this game feel way more streamlined in a good way. So
Totally.
Cool, man. I'm glad you're digging it. Anything else you've been playing? Any other Persona thoughts? I don't know if you had anything you wanted to share.
Nope. My thoughts are coming soon.
Yep. Pending soon.
Yeah.
Cool. I played a couple of things this week. Nothing too crazy. I'm still like trying to figure out where I want to go with video games right now. So I a new thing that I did play that I would love to talk about, Predator Hunting Grounds. I don't know if Scott, Tony, you guys have heard of this. New asymmetrical multiplayer game. I forget who made this. I'll look it up, but Illphonic. Thank you, Nabeshin. So asymmetrical multiplayer 4v1, Predator versus first-person shooter-esque hunter dudes. And you know what? I didn't know what to expect. I'd obviously the folks over at Kind of Funny are big fans of it. I like asymmetrical multiplayer. And I was really excited at the idea of this. Happy to report, I think it's like really fun. And I think it gets enough right that it's okay that it's kind of, like a 7 in how it looks and feels at times, just to use a kind of general term, not to be dismissive. But like the shooting isn't the best. When I shoot like a because there's like NPC enemies around, kind of like in a Titanfall match, or to use an example, is like basically ads that you can take care of while the Predator is like the real threat. Shooting them doesn't feel good, and like when you hit them with a bullet, it like doesn't feel like you're hitting anything, and it's not great, but you know what, it gets the job done. When you're shooting the Predator, it feels like more things are happening because there's like a little damage indicator for doing damage to the Predator, and it helps a little bit. But yeah, it just, shooting wise doesn't feel great, running wise doesn't feel amazing. When you're playing the Predator, it feels dope though. It almost feels like you're playing like a whole other video game. Which is good. It has like an Assassin's Creed vibe to it, of like climbing through the trees. Everything is kind of like a straight line that you can kind of move through really quickly. More modern Assassin's Creed, not like the older ones where you're like holding 3 face buttons and 2 trigger buttons to kind of sprint. So yeah, the idea is the humans drop down and you can pick different spawn points, which I like. They're pretty big circular maps. You can kind of go to any of the 4 corners. And then you have objectives that you have to get through, and then you have to escape. So that is the kind of main thrust of the humans, and then the Predators just kill the dudes. I like that there are a lot of different ways things can kind of deviate mid-match, which makes it feel like different than something like Evolve, which always had the people's goal is hunting the monster's goal is hunting the people. And then if time runs out, the people just have to defend a point, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's all every match of that game was. Whereas this, there's obviously different objectives that the people have to do. Oh, go here and kill these people, or go here and destroy this data, or go here and hack into this computer and get this research, and then you'll have to defend a point for a little bit, and people will attack you. Predator might show up and fuck everything up. I like that. You're kind of going from these different camps in these pretty big maps that, I would compare them to the size of like a Left 4 Dead map. They're big but not huge. And then depending on how things go will affect other things that might pop up. If the predator kills one of your teammates, you might be able to call in reinforcements and have them respawn, but that's another thing that you have. It's always optional. It's a thing that you'll have to go to another encampment from where your objective is to figure out. So that's a big risk, and like if you go alone, you're more likely going to get killed. When you're like walking through the jungle parts of the jungle and you're just with your squad and you hear like the clicking noises, super scary. Like it totally works, which I was worried that would kind of be lost in the multiplayer aspect of it, but they really nailed it. And so then when it comes down to confronting the predator, things can kind of go a couple of different ways. So like I said, if you end up avoiding the predator enough, you can get to the chopper and get out, or you can fight the predator, and if you down the predator has a chance to like basically make itself explode like a nuclear bomb, which is great. Very good reference to the original Predator. And then so if you kill the predator or down the predator and it decides to kill itself, everyone has to kind of get out of the blast radius or it will kill you, and then the match ends, which is weird. It's weird that when the predator dies by exploding, it's like, all right, match is over, but I guess like the environment would be torn up or whatever. But if you kill the predator and it doesn't get the chance to blow itself up, so you actually successfully fully killed down the predator, it doesn't get to try and blow itself up, then a new objective comes up that only happens if you do that, where you have to defend the predator body from other humans for like 2 minutes, and then you get like a bonus score if the predator body's intact, which is really cool. And I only saw that once. It's like really hard to essentially get that ending to any mission because the predator can like make itself blow up really quickly. I don't know if there's like a trick to making it not do that or anything. But I was like, oh, this can kind of go 3 different ways at any time because of how they designed this fight with this enemy. And I think that's really cool. It's cool to see like an asymmetrical thing that will play out differently depending on how you want to handle it. Or, you know, if you're more aggressive, or, you know, at least making those different kind of scenarios more interesting from a gameplay standpoint. But yeah, I only played the Predator once. I did not win. I think I blew myself up and I killed 3 out of the 4. I killed 1 and I killed 2 with the explosion, and then 1 got away. So I felt pretty good about that. But as far as like a first attempt, it seemed fine.
Tony.
Hey.
You were a big fan of Friday the 13th. Like, what's the one thing you want from this game that game just didn't do after a while for you?
I don't know. That's hard.
That's a good question. Yeah, I forgot that you were into Friday the 13th. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's something here that you would dig, Tony, because like I feel like Friday the 13th had like the kind of ingenuity of kind of like different tools and things that you could find, and this is a little bit more straightforward actiony. So, but it's fun. It's got crossplay and stuff. It's on PC, crossplay with PS5, PS4. I know I think it's broken right now or something. I don't know why or what's going on with it, but I know it doesn't work. But because we were gonna do some for the charity stream tomorrow, but it's just not working. And half of us have it on PC, the other half on PS4. But yeah, I like, as far as like them trying to go for this idea, I think it's really cool. It is one of those things where, you know, it feels like a $40 game, and it is, and it's totally appropriately where it's at. And a lot of what you can do is locked behind progression, and like just the more and more I am like not into competitive multiplayer games, the more and more that is like frustrating to me. Of like, oh, like the Predator has tools that you will only see if you get the Predator to like level 27, or get your character, your class account or whatever to level 27. So you can be playing as humans and then eventually unlock those stuff for the Predator. But it's like, as the Predator, you have your weapon, like your missiles that you shoot, your invisibility, and your claws, and like that's all you have from the get-go. But there are other tools like a net gun and all this stuff that you unlock the more and more you play. But like, I would probably, to get to like level 27 to get the net gun, I think it's like the next thing I could get. I would probably have to play like 10 more hours or 8 more hours or something. And it's like, man, that's a lot to play to unlock a thing that might make all of that time more interesting. And that's just totally, that's how competitive multiplayer games are, create a class and all that. But it's just a thought that I've had more and more and more when playing those games. Of like, I kind of want to have just the stuff up front, and then unlock other things as I go along. Kind of like an Apex Legends or something like that. But I don't know. It's just a weird feeling I've had. Harder to get into those kinds of games, but I'm still having fun with Predator Hunting Grounds. Animal Crossing, the big update this week. It made 8 million in turnips. So shout out to Trevor Starkey. He opened his island. He had 500 plus turnip sale costs, and he let me make 3 trips to sell 3 rounds of turnips. And then I'm debt free. I've paid everything off. And now I'm just thinking about new ways to redesign my little town. I'm to the point where I'm not playing Animal Crossing every day now, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't bother me too much. And I've rearranging stuff, trying to get to 5 stars, like doing things that I didn't really care about in Animal Crossing before. But I'm having fun doing it. So, not too much. I didn't see the May Day event where you can like go to May Island or whatever. That's new for this week only. I have not done that yet. I might do that after the podcast. But they added a few things for like Earth Day and stuff. I don't know if I talked about those last week. Those bushes, they're cute. They complement like trees and little centers that you can make really well. So I appreciate all the little things that they're adding to that game. I feel like, I played like a lot of other stuff this week, just like totally all over the place. Like I mentioned, finished Resident Evil 3 at the end of last weekend, replayed through the whole game this week just for fun. I like booted up Tales of Xillia. I might have talked about that last week. I booted up a couple other PS3 games. I played Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm trying to I'm like throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks right now. But like with my brain. And it's like there are things that I want to do. Like obviously I want to play 999, which I played like a little bit of that this week. Of like I got through like one of the escape rooms on my second playthrough. I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 5. I did like 1 mission in it. So like I've got those things that like I'm obligated to play. And
Ground Zero?
Not Ground Zero's 5. I already played through Ground Zeroes.
Oh, okay.
That I did that like in a 50-minute afternoon of like, hey, do I still got this? Can I still get all the way through this? I can. As it turns out. And man, Ground Zeroes is still super weird. Is it weird? Is Ground Zeroes weird to you?
Weird? I don't think weird.
I think it's simultaneously very cool because I love it as an idea. It reminds me a lot like the freighter mission from Metal Gear Solid 2, right? Like, it has very similar vibes to that for me. But it's just like, I don't know how they managed to make that game not feel like how Metal Gear Solid 5 feels. Like, not as good. I don't know what they learned between those games because maybe it's just the fact that one is way more open and stuff. But yeah, I've just been trying to figure out a thing outside of Obligation, outside of whatever that I would like to play. I would like to also do a hard mode playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I just want to replay it fresh, like with some interview stuff that came in recently. I just want to like try and soften my perspective on it, trying to have like a little bit more of like all right, let's not maybe play through it without all the baggage, like maybe play through it with like just fresh now, because that honestly really helped me with Persona 5 as well. Like, even though I love that game and I love Final Fantasy VII, I just have problems with it. It gave me enough of like okay, like I missed this, or I didn't understand this before, or things like that I really appreciated. But also like I'm getting new internet on Monday. I don't know, did I tell you guys? Mm-hmm. I'm getting gigabit internet on Monday, which I'm very excited about. So I'm thinking of like starting to do some regular streams because I'll be able to. And I did a test stream this week. They updated OBS. It was Brant that told me this last week. They updated OBS for Mac. That is like way more compatible now, and where my capture card would cause problems with it before, it like works flawlessly now. So I was testing stuff and I got it to like look pretty freaking good and run pretty smooth at 60 frames, and it's like, okay, once I have a better bandwidth like this, I know this won't be a problem. So I have 5 megabits per second up right now, which is disgusting. It takes me like 3 minutes to send a text message with a fucking picture file in it. Not really, not 3 minutes, but like longer than it should. So I'm thinking about a bunch of stuff. What should I stream, Nabeshin?
What should you stream?
If you're gonna go do some Sonic streams, what would be like the Alex O'Neill brand stream that you would want to see?
League of Legends.
Straight up though, that could be funny.
It's too much of a commitment, but like honestly, Persona 3 again.
Ooh, that would be fun. Yeah, that is a big commitment. But
that's what I'm saying.
But that would be fun. Maybe New Game Plus 2 of that. Just to so I could actually see all the. I've never seen all the social links in Persona 3. But to be fair, like you have to romance all the female characters in that game, so that's part of why I've never seen half of the social links. I'm like, I do love Yukari, but I don't love her like that, and I'm not going to hang out with her anymore now because I don't want her to get the wrong impression. But it'd be cool to go through and see all of those. That's a good one. I was also thinking of like an idea. I'll run this by you guys. I don't care if the internet at large knows. An idea of like, because I've been wanting to play Breath of the Wild recently, but I don't necessarily want to sit down and do a whole new ass playthrough of that. I was thinking of doing a weekly stream where once a week I sit from the end of the Great Plateau and try and beat Breath of the Wild, just straight to the Ganon, like, and see how many times it takes on 3 hearts for me to successfully do it. Like, how good do I have to get, and how long will that take to get good enough to like effectively speedrun Breath of the Wild? And I think that could be fun. Like once a week to like, all right, I'm gonna commit an hour to this, get as much stuff I can in an hour, and then try and fight Ganon and see if I win. I won't for a while though, so that's a thing to think about.
Also, I think some of your obscure things that you love.
Alundra. Just do Alundra playthrough.
Tumble
1 and Tumble 2. Ooh, Tumble 1 and Tumble 2 would actually be fucking sick. You know, I might do that now, Wishin. I got my PS3 set up specifically to play those games again, so I like that. But yeah, it's just me spaghetti at the wall over here trying to figure out what I want to get into. Might play Persona 5 again. Who knows? Fuck it, man. That is it for video games. We did have a little bit of news this week, which is exciting. I'm curious on some perspectives on this. Jeff Keighley coming out there, and I don't have my little plug, so I can't play the news music, but just play it in your head and imagine that it's happening. Jeff Keighley announced this week that is the Summer Games Festival. Is that what it's called? Summer Games Fest? Which is something that he has been putting on, or he will be putting on. I don't know, like, you know, it's him and many other video game companies. I guess he's spearheading it with I Am 8-Bit. And it is a 4-month. He added a new month to summer. May is now officially a part of summer. Congratulations, May. 4-month, May through August, showcase of video games where there will be things to play, like demos, things to see, like the Inside Xbox coming up next week, where they will be supposedly showing first ever Series X gameplay, first ever next gen gameplay with like stuff like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they keep saying like other surprises, but you know, I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much, because fucking last time I was excited about an Inside Xbox, it was not exciting. But
yeah, all their Inside Xbox have not been stellar, honestly.
This could be the one, right? And like they've at least promised like, hey, there will be gameplay of this. So like at the very least, I think this is teed up to be the most interesting one. But you know,
real talk, Alex Neil, what is up with those? Like
Inside Xbox.
It's just in general, like, why are they like not interesting in the way you kind of feel like they should be? Like even in the state of play, it's like talks about PlayStation VR stuff. Like there's still something about that like you can like at least feel like you're compelled to watch it. But like I don't know, there's something about that. Like you like when Xbox Insider, it's even the name you can't even like remember compared to like these other things. It's just like
it's not as catchy.
Pay attention to it.
Yeah. It's not a brand that they can like subsist on as their in direct brand or their state of play brand. Like it's not filling that void successfully, and people don't associate it with that. I think like when I watch Inside Xbox, and I've watched probably 3 of the 10 or whatever that they've done, it just feels like it's very maybe patronizing is the wrong word, but like they're talking like they're talking to a crowd of like angry fans or whatever, or like excited fans of like, we're so excited to be here, like for the community, like it's very it just doesn't feel real.
Okay, so what the best way to sound it?
Yeah.
I'm far away from the mic. With the best way to say this,
Yes.
is that they're pretending they're at E3.
Yeah, kind of. Inside Xbox has like the E3 stadium is closing in, and we want to keep all these people excited. It's like, no one feels like this. Actually, it's fine. You could just be yourself, and there's just like an over the topness that just doesn't feel genuine for me. So I that's part of it. Like the people that host it. Like if you had, it's like, all right, Larry Nelson, Larry Herb. I forget Major Nelson's last name. Of course, it's Nelson.
Larry Herb.
Larry Herb. If Major Nelson's like hosting every episode, and it's like this is his show, and suddenly you kind of have an expectation, like if there was some level of consistency to it, right? Like where I kind of know what I'm like. All right, Major Nelson's gonna host. He's gonna kick it off with some announcements. Then they're going to do a Game Pass segment, and then they're going to have something big, right? Like, they just need, like, maybe a format or a dedicated host or something like that is going to be the same every time. Because even State of the Play has the fucking same lady's voice every time, and it is, like, some level of consistency. So, yeah, I think that would help a lot. But I also think that they should just start a new brand of, like...
So when they bring people on, is it just like a random host?
No, it's like, the community managers, like the people that run their Twitter accounts and stuff, like the folks that like interface with the community, which to be fair are the folks that you'd want to do that, but they're doing like the hype man community manager thing when it just doesn't work for what they've been trying to do. It just sounds awkward, It's just like that awkward, excited, but not everyone else is excited feeling, the standard E3 like Mr. Caffeine bullshit. So yeah, I don't know. I think that would help, but also they just need to do a different thing.
I don't know, man. Like we recently recently as in a year ago, we watched like OD3s, and like not even those were like the same way as like Inside Xbox for some reason. Like maybe because there's an anticipation with like with the E3 shows, and because it's E3 that like you're a little bit more engaged with what they're saying, even though they're talking about like numbers or whatever. But like you want to hear the next thing they're saying, and like with Inside Xbox, it's just like I guess it's just like the way that they're just speaking to you, because it feels like one of those like one of those pyramid scheme type of salesman type of thing, when it's just like they're always trying to upsell you, but it's like, and like the enthusiasm never feels real. But at the same time, like like when Xbox actually does their E3 or anything that's like actually in front of a crowd of people, other than like the one they did in Mexico or whatever, like I think like or at least when Phil Spencer on the stage, let's just say that when he's on the stage, like I feel like there's a real presence in the real like general thing that's like, oh, I want to hear everything this man has to say, rather than this like these not suits, but like these 30-somethings that act like they're 20-somethings to sell something to teenagers. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's also a good way to put it. I think like there's just like Phil Spencer in a similar way to like Shuhei Yoshida, right? Like people see him, they know him, they trust him. When he says stuff, like he just comes across. He's very genuine, like even in the way that he talks when he's presenting, like he is confident, but not overconfident. Like he's figured out how he wants himself to sound in a similar way to like Reggie and stuff. Like, although maybe Reggie sounded a little overconfident at times. So yeah, I think also having just Phil Spencer host whatever that is would be good. I think that would be just having his voice would help, because I think he knows how to come across the way that they should come across. So, but yeah, that's Thursday, May 7th is going to be Inside Xbox featuring Series X gameplay. So that's going to be, I guess, the first thing within the Summer Games Fest lineup of things. But we don't really know where this is going. He's referring to this. Keely's referring to it as Phase 1. May through August is Phase 1. The publishers on board are Square, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Activision, Bungie, like the big names that you would want. No Nintendo is the only big kind of call out, and then some other news came out this week that Nintendo's probably planned June Direct that would have, in theory, been an E3 Direct, but now it's just going to be a June Direct. Might have actually gotten pushed to the end of summer. So we might not be hearing from Nintendo for a little bit. And they're not going to be necessarily part of this Summer Game Fest. They're the only big one that's kind of left out. Which I like, there's always time for them to kind of join the party later on, but a lot of people are already saying, like, yep, this is the thing. Now, like, next year, E3 will be dead for sure. Even after the pandemic, people will not care about it anymore, especially if Keighley kind of dedicates himself to doing Summer Games Fest every year. It's a digital event, right? Demos will be available to people from home. There will be stuff and announcements and probably releases throughout the whole 4-month period. So it definitely seems like it's fun. It's going to be more engaging. Like, there's going to be stuff that you can actually just go play and try. He talked about like in-game events for like your kind of probably like seasonal or updated games throughout this season. So that's really cool. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really cool idea. I'm really excited to see it. It's nice to like have something new and announcements that are coming that are like genuinely exciting about video games again. And then the other bit of news that I pulled this week was just the release dates for The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima came out, but also, hey everyone, The Last of Us Part 2 has been leaked online, so if you care, like me, be fucking careful. So, I had multiple people, including you, text me this week, Nabeshin, just being like, hey, you should go block all these words on Twitter. And I did. So, yeah, that's just a thing, PSA, thing to keep out in the back of your mind. The Last of Us Part 2 will officially be coming out on June 19th. Ghost of Tsushima will officially be coming out on July 17th. Hopefully unabated by pandemic or any acts of God. Yeah, it's weird that to me now that Last of Us was delayed a little less than a month, and they were like, it's delayed indefinitely. Of like, they could have just said, hey, we're going to maybe put this out at a different time. We're still figuring it out. As opposed to saying indefinitely at any point. But, maybe I also am not sure if, like, maybe this leak happened and they were like, we should just get this game out there before it's not cool anymore. And they might have, like, just picked a date because they were like, okay, let's get it done. So, who knows? But that's it. That's news. That's everything. That's the podcast. I did not pull up questions this week because I keep forgetting. But
are you going to do a replay of the first game before the second game comes out?
I was replaying it with Damien, my roommate, because he loves that game, and he was like, let's replay it because the next one's coming out, and I want to hang out and play games with you more. I was like, okay, like I'm totally down. So we started it. We have not finished it, and it seems like it was a thing for me too. To be fair, like I got those feelings as well. Like this is a 2013 game. Like it's a little harder to go back to than I would like. And being so fucking engrossed in some very good looking video games right now is frustrating for that game. But I would like to. Now that I have a date, I would like. The thing is, I'll probably blow through that game in a weekend, so I would maybe just do it like June 6th or something. But I'd like to, yeah. I just, it's one of those things. I texted you a little bit about it, and like, listen, I know Scott and Tony, you guys are not fucking fans of The Last of Us. I totally understand. No hard feelings, but it is a bummer when like now, currently with my current set of friends, I just don't have anyone really that I know that loves The Last of Us in the same way that I do. Not that it has to be that for you guys or any of the IP folks, but it's a bummer when it's like, oh, The Last of Us leaked online, and then like all the comments in Slack are just like, well, I didn't even think they needed to make a sequel anyway. It's like, I know, listen, I know,
dude. Fucking same.
I get it. I was there with you. I am there with you. The story's great. Doesn't necessarily need a sequel, blah, blah, whatever. But, I'm like, it's happening. It's not like I can stop this from happening. I'm just trying to enjoy what I can out of this or have some emotions. Ellie's one of my favorite video game characters of all time. So I'm hoping that her story, which this is going to be more of, is good. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. Please don't spoil the game for me. I know the people that listen to this show are nice, so I'm not too worried. But I'll block you.
I will say one thing.
Yeah.
In case you kind of just heard about that portion and left it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know anything about the spoilers in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But what I ended up hearing instead was there was a reason why it was leaked.
Yeah, there was a lot of different things going on. So keep in mind, like it was rumored that it was an angry employee that was like frustrated with like the labor conditions, but that was also debunked. It was like a complete third party to PlayStation and Naughty Dog. I didn't hear any reason beyond that, but it is not
so you caught the correction.
Yeah, I did.
That was.
Yeah, there was like a weird like 2 days.
There was a couple of days where it was, oh, but hey, they actually kind of just crushed your dreams.
Yeah, it was a super weird thing where a lot of people were coming out like, even if I like worked on that project and I hated the fact that I worked on it, like I wouldn't want to ruin it because I worked really hard on it. It was like, yeah, this is a weird, but that got debunked and everything. So it's a weird thing. Is it like I guess the closest thing would be like that Final Fantasy VII demo and then like the RE3 leak, the stuff that had happened on the PlayStation Network that like were pretty substantial, but like, man, yeah, I don't know who did that and why, but it's a weird thing. I'm trying to think of like the last like video game that I guess like Smash Brothers Ultimate was also like a game that leaked a month before its release, and people were like hacking and playing that online and stuff. So it's rare, but it's a weird thing that when it happens. That's the show. If you'd like to be a part of the show, normally we ask for questions. You can tweet those questions at IrrationalPod with hashtag IPQ. You can send us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Or you can send us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassion.com. If you'd like to follow the show and the website on Twitter is at IrrationalPod. Myself and Nabeshin are at AlFighter27 and at NABESHIN186 respectively. Go follow for updates on when we're live on Twitch, when new videos go up, when new previews go up, when this podcast goes up, Raccoon City Radio, all the good stuff. Check out all of our video stuff on Twitch and YouTube. Just look for Irrational Passions on either places. Like I said, Twitch streaming all weekend, but hopefully more just in general during the kind of pandemic times, especially like of us hanging out playing games together. Hopefully get Scott, Tony, you guys involved in that too. I'm sure there's a thing that the three of us could play and stream, and it could be very fun.
Name 2 games.
Stellaris would be one. I've thought about it. I'd also love. It's too late now because Tony doesn't have it anymore. I'd love to do another Animal Crossing thing together, but
I still have it.
You still have it? Okay. Maybe we could we could do a little check-in. I think that could be fun. It was fun playing with you guys at one time. So. And rate and review us wherever you listen, whatever podcast service of choice you've chosen to listen to us on. Please give us a nice review. It helps a lot. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. It's a place to be. Now we've reached the end of the show. It is time for bets. This week's bet. I thought of this just last night. I didn't write it down until we started the podcast, though. So I'm sorry I couldn't give you more of a heads up. In the Assassin's
Oh, I guess it's time for me to mute my mic, huh?
Oh, yeah, true. Scott already submitted his bet. He doesn't even want to know what it is. In the Assassin's Creed, this is this week's bet. In the Assassin's Creed Valhalla demo during Inside Xbox. So again, I don't know how substantial this is going to be, but I'm at least looking for something. How many seconds will the protagonist be fully off the ground total? It's inspired by an old Easy Allies bet that I loved. I don't know if you remember this one, Nabeshin, how many seconds will Lara Croft be off the ground or whatever in the Shadow of the Tomb Raider? Oh, so funny. So Scott said 12 seconds. and that's what he said. And
Mhm.
well, he said
Define.
he said 12, but
Yes, yes. Define the rules a little bit more.
so like 1 foot on the ground doesn't count. If you are in a tree, does count. That's off the ground. I would count that. I'm expecting there not to be a lot of that. We're talking about Vikings here, but I'm expecting leaping, jumping, jump attacks, stuff like that. I'm probably expecting to get a couple seconds in here and there when those happen, and then not a lot outside of that, except for maybe like a big climb sequence where they're off the ground and then jump.
That's right, they do climb in those games.
Yeah,
That changes everything.
it does change everything. The thing is, I just don't know how much of it we're gonna see. But we could also have it like have them be airborne seconds exclusively if you guys prefer. So that way, if they're climbing, if they're sitting on something, it doesn't count. But if they're in the air,
They gotta be off the ground. So
yeah,
if he's climbing something that's off the ground.
yeah, okay. I'm gonna say 62 seconds. This bet is based on a completely unprecedented theory that maybe he'll climb something at some point. We'll see.
I'm still just gonna go with 1 second. I think they're just gonna focus on the combat.
That's
What is a ship aground?
I would count like the deck of the ship as ground, solid
Okay.
ground. Just
Yeah,
because if they do that, then I don't even want to fuck with that.
Yeah, I'll be dumb and say 1 second. Sure.
Tony, what do you think?
I was gonna say 3 seconds.
Okay.
I'm still gonna say that.
Okay. I got the high one here. I'll tell Scott he's good. Last week's bet. This is an interesting one. Or it became interesting when I started tallying the results before the podcast. Last week's bet, in the top 8 reviews for Gears Tactics on OpenCritic.com, how many times will I see reference to XCOM or the Enemy Unknown reboot series? I said 10. Nabeshin said 16. Scott said 8. Tony said 12. Brent Ranch, who's betting for me, said 6. So we talked about it a little bit when we did it, of like maybe 1 per review, maybe 2 per review. In the first review that I opened, there were 11 references to XCOM. 11. And I was like, okay, let me go through. I typically don't include captions on images or title, like header titles. It was all in body. It was all in text. 11 XCOM references. And then in the second one, there was also, I think, 11. No, in the second one, there were 18. Never mind. So like we hit 29 references by the end of the second review, which means option 1. But tallied it up just to see 61 total references to XCOM in those 8 reviews. A lot of, and again, like it's a weird thing that to call attention to, not a huge deal, but.
Nah, reviews are done. Time to find a different way to do this.
Reviews are canceled. Welcome to our new era. But it is a thing to call it because like the Easy Allies talk about a lot of like how many times do you reference other things when you talk about them. There were a couple of reviews I did want to give a shout out to. Polygon and Game Informer both had 2 or less references. It was just in the beginning of like, hey, XCOM has kind of changed this genre in a lot of ways. Then they talked about it. I do understand that Gears Tactics is very similar to XCOM. I thought this would be an interesting exercise, and it turned out to be true. So there you go. Yeah, it's tough. I write a lot of reviews. I remember I wrote. I'm trying to think. There was one review where I wrote it and I was like, I'm going to try and never reference Dark Souls because I have gotten a lot of shit on it for the show, rightfully so. Referring to things as the Dark Souls of whatever, and it's tough for me, but I think it's an important thing to learn how to do, and to talk about something as if it was like its own thing versus comparing it to other things, especially in games, because it's very easy to compare video games to other video games. But every now and again, I think we should challenge ourselves to not do that and to just try and describe what you're doing alone with the face value of what you see with that game. That's it for bets. That's it for the show. Thanks everybody so much for hanging out. Thank you boys for hanging out. This is a really good show. There's some good conversations today. Thanks everybody who tuned in live, or watched the archive, or listened to the podcast, or did the music for the podcast. Danny Wiesner, shout out to that dude, and his wife Tori. They made two-player co-op, which is our opening music and our closing music of The World Is Saved. Great songs. You should listen to them. That's it. That's the whole thing. I hope everybody out there is doing okay. We love you very much. We're thinking about every single person that listens to this show, I promise. At least I am.
Final word.
Final word. Nabeshin, what you got, man? Anything you disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just fucking popped into your head?
I love Persona 5 Royal with all my heart.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's the show. That's the podcast. Thanks, everybody. Yeah? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I might have been muted. I don't know if you discussed this, but who did you romance?
Oh, yeah, did it change?
Oh, my heart doesn't weigh easily, my dude.
All right, listen. I feel like I get a little judgment here.
I wasn't thinking about that, but sure.
Oh, so same romance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Nah, that was going full shade, straight up.
Hey, Okay, all right. That's all I need to know. At least we're on the same team now, thank God.
It's weird. The thing is, like, I liked being on Nabeshin's team, and I'm not on Nabeshin's team anymore. But I don't know how I feel about being on Tony's team.
What's wrong with being on?
I'm kidding.
It's fucked up.
We're on. You say fucked up shit to me all the time, all right? Let me have one.
Yeah, I apologize for that, by the way.
I apologize for all the fucked up shit I said.
Specifically, some of the fucked up shit I said yesterday.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Anything else? Any other final thoughts?
No, I said my piece.
Okay. As long as we all said our piece. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Nabeshin, for joining me as always. I love you, boys. Big hugs all the way around. Be safe out there, everyone. Be safe. Keep your distance. And take care of yourselves. I've been Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay rational. We will talk to you all next week. Titles.
We got what's my mother's name? And can you take the warthog there?
It has to be what's my mother's name. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. Was it Priscilla or whatever? I forget now.
I don't even know.
They look through the notes.
How good is it?
It's really good.
Okay.
It's really it's a recurring joke at the very least from Critical Role. It's not one thing that they just one and done. It's something that they bring up all the time.
Man, it's like my dream for Nabeshin to get involved in Critical Role, dude.
I
want to know. I want to know his takes on everything.
I think you really like the characters. I just don't know if you would. I don't know if you like D&D.
I don't know if I do. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Campaign 2, Episode 1. Give it a shot.
That's a good jumping in point. Yeah. I'll say the episode number. Tony, you want to say the title?
Yeah, sure. Just pull it from the front of the episode.
Oh yeah, true. I'll do that. That's good. All right, then I'll episode number. You're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 465.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why do you always drop the in the title? Whenever you type it out or you say it.
I used to go back and forth.
Yeah, you're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, not you're listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think about it.
You're like the only person who does it now.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things where like I know that I'm the only person that does it, so I've just like gotten the habit of it.
It's your thing.
It's my thing. It's my thing.
I gotcha.
Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good night, everybody. Have played it or finished.